She was a very playful child. She loved outdoors.
When I think of her as a child, that she did was she loved lizards, and she would get them every day. She just caught them, and sometimes she'd keep them for a few days, but she would put them on her ears, have them bite her ears and wear them until they would just let go as earrings. And sometimes it'd be an hour, sometimes it'd be a few minutes, but if you saw Kady playing outside, she always had a pair of lizard earrings on.
Kady and I met for the first time at church. The first date that we ever had was at the beach, and that was the first time that we both got to know each other better, and really, I think we both got like little butterflies in our stomachs. So that was the first date, I think, that we both knew that there was something more.
I remember it very, very clearly. Kady and Michael had gone on a couple of dates already. They met at youth group at church, and a friend had brought Michael to Kady's church. And it was actually, I think, 2 dates later. Kady had a habit when I would be cooking in the kitchen, and this is such a wonderful memory of her. Anytime I was cooking and she needed to talk, seriously talk, she'd either come sit on the counter, or she would just sort of back up against the fridge and slide down, sit there, and we'd talk. And this particular day, she slid down against the fridge and she started crying, and I said, "What's wrong?" And she said, "Mom, I don't want to be in love, but I already love him. What am I going to do?" I knew from that moment on that she was just so in love with him. And after that, they were completely inseparable. They never saw another person as far as a date. And they sort of dropped their friendships, because they just spent every waking moment that they could together.
You know, you always think that you won't ever find somebody that's good enough for your daughter, but I was very pleased when Kady got attached to Michael. He sort of blended in and became part of the family. We were riding someplace, I can't remember where, but turned out that the ride to wherever we were going was sort of a staged thing between my wife and my daughter, where he would have the opportunity to ask me, and he asked me, and I said, yeah, I approve.
To think about how I was going to propose to her took a long time. It took months of preparation. And I had discussed with Denise a lot about ideas I had. And the one idea that really I thought was a great idea was to propose in Disney. So that happened where we went there in June, and I had the ring on my right pocket. The whole day this ring is in my right pocket, and we're going through rides, walking through the park. I have this very expensive ring in my pocket, like really thinking of every scenario of how this ring could be lost. She did get suspicious about something being in my pocket, so she wanted to touch my pocket all day. It was overall a very challenging day. At the end of the day, the parade happened at night, and then Tinkerbell flew. She flies from the castle across the park to the front of the park, and fireworks started going off. And the gates to the castle, there's light posts that lead to the gates. I proposed to her on the left first light post. So I got on one knee, I asked her, she started shaking, crying, jumped on me, where almost knocked me down, and it was very spontaneous, but it was a magical, magical moment.
The day of her wedding went exactly as she planned that it would go. We had no hitches that I can remember. She got dressed at Michael's cousin Rose and Jose Carlos's house. They have a beautiful home, and there was room for all the bridesmaids and me to go over there and get dressed. And a lot of pictures were made there. She was absolutely gorgeous. I know every mother thinks that their daughter is the most beautiful girl in the world, but she glowed, she just glided. She was so happy.
It was a great day. I just wished it had lasted forever. It was just a special day, the wedding day.
We got married at a church, and then we had the reception. I cannot really tell you much about it because it was kind of a blur, the whole entire. I just remember it starting and ending, and I don't think we even ate. So it's a blur, but it was a lot of fun, I can tell you that. And it was very emotional, very happy. It was just a wonderful moment. That Saturday, I remember we were at brunch and she got the call. We were actually at brunch with my parents. And I kind of knew right away. It was just, she wasn't saying anything at all, but then she repeated back, "So you're sure that it's cancer?" And in that moment, it was just like everything crumbled. It was like the end of the happiness.
Kady was initially diagnosed with breast cancer, triple negative breast cancer, very rare for a Caucasian female her age. And of course, her treatment, it wasn't any different. With triple negative, you still have mastectomy, you still have chemo, possibly radiation. The difference is they told her to stay on her birth control. And approximately 6 months after she finished chemo, and she'd gotten the all clear from her oncologist, she found another lump. And by the time she got to Moffitt and they figured out what was going on, they realized she never had triple negative breast cancer. She was always estrogen positive from the beginning. And those birth control pills fueled, like fire, fueled her breast cancer, and it metastasized to her liver. And she automatically became stage 4.
The way I felt when we found out that she had been misdiagnosed by the labs, and now she was stage 4, which we were in a total different place, because stage 4, as her doctor at the time said, it's treatable, but it's not curable. That made me feel so angry. I was extremely angry. I felt cheated. I felt that I did ask questions like, why her? Why us? Why is this happening? How can this happen? I know she was angry as well. She never really showed it too much, but I know that she was angry. But we both kept being optimistic the whole entire way. And even though at times I felt angry and those bad feelings would come up, especially after she passed, I found myself in a place where I was like, well, this can turn to bad anger. I can really just be mad at everything and just, this can get the best of me, this whole experience that happened to us. Or I could be a better person. I can take this experience and do something with it. Cancer is a battle you lose if you let it overtake who you are. She never allowed cancer to take over her life, who she was. Something I deeply respect. She just dealt with it in the most gracious, amazing way that I've never seen anybody ever fight something like that. And I never thought of her as losing a battle, even though she has passed from this illness. She really just never got a chance to fight it. She never got a break. Nothing really worked. You know, I don't think you lose something when you just don't have a fair shot at it.
Knowing that her life could have been spared because she had been given the all clear makes me angry. Just angry, first of all, because I've lost my daughter for no reason. This was straight run-of-the-mill breast cancer, like a 70-year-old woman gets that recovers from it, like my own maternal grandmother did. But because they left her on the birth control, the doctors only did what they thought was best because of the pathology. And it was the labs that misdiagnosed her. And so I feel such a desire to see that protocols are changed and something is in place in these labs so that when a 28-year-old woman gets the result of a rare cancer, it triggers a restaining of those biopsies, that nobody else would ever have to go through this just because somebody didn't do their job that day.
The advice that I would give to other people facing this illness is you need to get a lot of opinions. Definitely rely on your intuition. I think that's one of the main things, is just always something doesn't feel right, or you're not content with what information you're getting, just seek a different opinion, do your own research.
She was a very beautiful girl. Very giving, very loving. She loved life.
I miss every single thing about her. I miss her smile, because she could light up a room, walking into a room. She had a brilliant smile. I miss her walking in my front door and saying, "Hi, Mom." I miss her voice, just hearing her voice.
She was selfless. She had a heart of gold. I remember she would be on the boards with other sisters that were dealing with their illness as well, and she could be having like a really bad day and pain, and she would still be writing other people and giving them hope and letting them know it's gonna be okay. That's an amazing strength that I don't know how many people have that. She's done so much for others. She's done so much for me. I don't look at this experience for me has been a gift. I feel like I've been given a gift. It was cut short, but I feel like it was a gift. And she's just an amazing person. It's such a huge answer I can give, and I can't find the words for it, but just an amazing human being, a fighter, had tremendous love, tremendous hope. She's just an amazing overall human being.
It is our greatest hope that in the making of this film, and the story that was told, and in memory of Kady Haynes Cosio, at least one person's ending may be altered, to ease the strain that cancer places on families like hers, and to help create joyful memories. The Fine Art Photography Company is proud to offer free family portrait sessions to anyone affected by this disease. Sessions are limited. Visit www.thefineartphotoco.com and click on the Contact Us tab if you or someone you know could benefit from one of these sessions.